with MS about 7 years ago, and I guess I wanted my artwork to kind of depict my MS journey and my experience. So I had a lot of pain and I would have used a wheelchair for a long time, but one of the standout things for me was the societal disability that came with that. It's like you have your symptoms, but you go into the outside world and they're magnified because, you know, everywhere's inaccessible. So I kind of used more metaphorical imagery to sort of depict my MS experience, particularly like the thorns and stuff that you see scattered throughout, kind of to depict the pain. But I also wanted to show how pain and beauty are so interconnected, how you can live with a disability but your life is so still full of joy. Sitting in the garden surrounded by flowers, surrounded by the birds, it just connected me back to the world and reminded me that I was still a part of that world.
I enjoyed writing the piece for this exhibition. It is written from the heart. From Reproducive MS Sign 2000. I am very fortunate to have no pain and I enjoy a very good life.
I was diagnosed in 1999. During that time, I started to go to the Writers' Workshop, as it was called then, and we wrote fiction, memoir, anything we liked really. And then when we met in 2 weeks' time, we would discuss what we had written.
My piece is pouring out my troubles. It has a teapot pouring my troubles into a cup. The troubles are to do with all the different symptoms that MS has thrown at me over the number of years, and I suppose it's very apt at the minute with COVID and with lockdown that when Zoom happened and everyone was getting together, having a cup of tea and having a chat, it was the way for us to air all our troubles to each other and find solutions, hopefully.
This is my piece. It's called Stronger for You, and it's a snapshot in time of when I had my relapse after the birth of my baby boy. I was a first-time mum. I was going through lots of different emotions. I was totally in love with my baby. I was caring for him and loving him, but I was in a relapse and I was worried, I was stressed, I was anxious, and I really didn't know where the future was going to take me. Its colours are bright because I'm a positive person, and the light shining in the window represents, you know, the hope for the future.
This is my piece. It's entitled Murmurs. I'm trying to illustrate the isolation and uncertainty that I experienced when I was first diagnosed, but equally the resilience that I have found in the years after that, in just facing an illness sort of head on, and the strength that has given me. It's a self-portrait, and I'm trying to depict the physical symptoms in my body, but also the shift in my mind that I found really difficult to articulate at the time. It's the first time I've ever addressed my illness in my work, and I hope that it sort of resonates with other people with similar sort of lived experiences, but also offers insight for those that have an interest in the area as well.
I was diagnosed with MS when I was 36. I had issues when I was 20, but they never got diagnosed. So I got an MRI done and it identified that I have 35 lesions on my brain. I wanted to represent these lesions. I'm not exactly sure where they are, but I pimped them up, and there's 35 pictures here. And then the second part of the piece is a skeleton, and it's an interactive skeleton. As you can see, there's 35 cotton wool balls in here to represent the lesions. There's a vibrating finger. This represents my drop foot. This represents the feeling that I don't have in my hands. This is for incontinence, and this is for the MS hug. So it's all my different symptoms. I'm trying to represent them physically rather than in a biological way, like that there usually are in books and things like that, so people can understand what it feels like to have MS.
So I was diagnosed in 2019. I was living in Bahrain in the Middle East, teaching, and it was a bit of a shock, even though I'd had symptoms for about 4 years previously. Yeah, so this is kind of an hourglass, which represents for me, I suppose, my worries that with the passing of time, my health will deteriorate, a bit like sand sifting through an hourglass. The hands are representative of feeling a bit disjointed from my body, and just the various symptoms. And very faintly you can see my infusion line, and then obviously above the water, the butterflies emerging represent like kind of hope and perseverance, and yeah, so that's basically it.
I'm 25 years old and I was diagnosed with MS when I was 21. So my piece is a 3D printed sculpture printed in resin. It's a bust of, from the front it's a scan of my head. It looks like me, it looks like an ordinary young woman, but then as you move to the back you see that there's a little bit more going on, that there's an exposed brain and spine, and this is to kind of capture the idea that the MS is hidden, that it's a weight that we carry privately by ourselves, and when we trust you, if we feel comfortable, we'll share that with you, and we'll let you come to the back of our heads and see our exposed brains and spines, which is the premise for my piece.
Hello, my name is Ava Battles. I'm the Chief Executive of the Multiple Sclerosis Society of Ireland, and we've just had an amazing launch here today in Trinity Biomedical Science Building. It's been so exciting. We've had an opportunity to meet the artists of all the wonderful paintings and exhibitions that we've just had here today. So we really hope that we'll be able to use this to continue to raise awareness, to show people through art what the symptoms of multiple sclerosis are. A huge thank you to all of our artists and their families for being here today, and we hope we'll be able to take this exhibition around the country so that you will all be able to see the wonderful pieces of work that our artists have done. Thank you so much. Thanks a million.